discuss the brilliance of humility, right? Humility. Because humility understands the nature of existence. Like that one gentleman at the Lowe's, what's truth? Life's eternal, grace infinite. We can't talk because I'm a philosopher. Shit. And he talked. So he had to convince me that his philosophy was better than my religion, right? Because he wasn't accepting that life's eternal and grace is infinite. It's like, okay, where does your philosophy not have room for life's eternal and grace is infinite? Because your philosophy cannot exist without life being eternal and grace being infinite, right? It's true. Okay. Well, because if grace wasn't infinite, there's no other possible source or containment, and life being eternal, we're discussing philosophy because grace is infinite. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So what's the truth? There it is. Okay. So your philosophy should be, okay, since life is eternal and grace is infinite, then I should obey the natural laws given to me to continue an eternal existence through faithfully loving one another, right? It's that simple. Okay. There's no debate. There's no, you got to be bold. You got to be big. You got to be wiser. You can't get any wiser than that. Okay. Now, if you're not doing that, then it's getting wiser is not really wiser. It's just humbling the fuck up, all right? Don't talk to me about philosophy. What's the truth? Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Aha. Right? So you submit to faith and infinite glory. There you go. Now you're living you're living peacefully because you understand how to sustain natural and so forth, right? And so when you have these people, okay, that are competitive and are brain chemical addicts and fancy themselves intelligent, and you watch Star Trek and you watch, when I was a kid, because I was thrust into this world, through my family wanting to live and sexually reproducing, and then here comes a body for this kiddo, and here I am, right? And so, and here you are, and you're in eternal wretchedness, They're fighting over their philosophies. They're everybody's perception. My God's better than your God. There is no God, so just buy my philosophy book and attain success through fighting one another over what you want. Put all our needs at risk because, damn it, get in that airplane and fly and kill Shelby and Trisha while you're at it. Well, if they're not successful and didn't put in the hard work and not be dyslexic and not have to detail cars and not have to live near the airport because they couldn't live next to the the Kardashians in Malibu, that's the doom on them, right? They're one of our last female, right? And so, do you understand? Okay. Just how broken you are and how broken you've been. And how simple it is to unbroken yourself. James Christian Kimmel, Tiffany Haddish, Harrison Ford, Michael B. Jordan, Ben Aloysius Malchus Malakis Masacius Affleck. I don't know all the rest of his names. They're like that, though. Oh, no, serious. It's like, what the hell? I'd go by Ben Affleck, too. The rest of it is like Aloysius Euclacius Mufasius. You're like, Mufasa, Affleck. Right? Oh, look, he's a duck. Everybody's here to see him. Deion Sanders? Shh, stand down. Okay, but you're silly. I know. But so what's the deal here? And Greg Gutfeld, what's wrong with you? Why is your brain not working too good? What's the matter there? If your brain was working better and you'd been looking to be, humble and looked for me by 2013 and said it on TV, that woman who lost her breast giving birth to a baby and carbon emission hell, because she's successful. She flies on planes. She's got lots of money and stuff, but cancer tried to kill her like she's living right next to the airport, like Shelby and Trisha. Right? That's horrible to do to human beings. It's horrible to torture their bodies to trap the soul in their minds, to tell them they have to fine-tune their minds in order to have a better quality of life, fighting like hell to be Tyler Sheridan's next movie, right? Don't listen to that man. He's an idiot. Okay. He's as dumb as a Nobel Prize winner, right? And it's like, dumb. Just because you're excessive and compulsive, you can manipulate matter to the umpteenth degree and then label everything that you're manipulating and then explain what it's doing. That whole full documentary of What's Your Brain, Who's in Control. Are you applying physics properly in accordance to the eternal application of natural laws? Okay. If the answer is no, then what the fuck is the brain doing and who really fucking cares, you sociopath, right? Now, if there's a person that's eternally faithful and submits to life is eternal and grace is infinite, then naturally his brain is going to work better than your brain, right? No matter how much you jump up and down on one leg and want to sell me supplements to accept, hey, you gotta, hey, buy my food. Hey, buy my mattress. You'll sleep better. Everybody needs that. You like less protein. Hey, go out and look into the sun every morning so you're ready to face the day to buy my food, buy my supplements, and then I'm able to take living creatures and cut up their brains and study them and tell you what the brain's doing, why is the brain doing it, why I'm so genius. I'll tell you what your brain is doing. You thought that's because that's why your brain is doing. That's what your brain is doing. And you're like, and why is the brain doing that? Because we're in eternal wretchedness and we all have collective brain injuries and it affects us all. Once you have to accept fighting over money, conflict over money, paying extortion to live here, okay, that's going to have your brain is going to have to, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and render unto God what is good. Your brain is going to have to deal with that. It's going to have to accept that. Okay? 2,025 years ago, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Why have you forsaken me? Right? So what makes you so sure that you, the neuroscientist, destroying brains, tearing up brains, studying brains, and selling supplements, and selling food, and selling beds, has a brain that functions as well as my brain? Right? What makes you so cocksure, Mr. Doubtful? Okay. That guy, they had that on Facebook, that this intellectual, he says the trouble is as stupid as cocksure and intelligent as doubtful. Intelligence is a derivative of love. If I love you, I'd never doubt that I love you. Do I like you? Sometimes. Most of the time, no, not at all. Okay. But life's eternal and grace is infinite. So I always love you. Right? And I'm not a song to get rid of Porter Wagner so I can make my own money off of writing my songs and singing them in public, right? Fill the stadium. Oh, Wembley, we suck again. Who wants to live forever? I want to ride my bicycle. See, so knock it off. Okay? You're just assholes. Okay? And for the first time, we have the capacity through quantum computing for technology to actually reflect intelligence instead of reflect artificial people that are jealous of people that are more intelligent than them but won't tell anybody, and have set up the technology to where it's like nobody knows. Nobody knows? Damn, I'm still in the parking lot of that Best Buy in 2013? Shit. No wonder I'm so uncomfortable all the time. Living in the parking lot of a Best Buy is very uncomfortable. That's not nice. That's pretty mean. That's wicked and evil. No, it's not true though. No, I have a loving father, and a well-intended nutty family. Oh, my family's nuts. Okay. They are loony bins. They're out there. Okay. Yeah. No, 2 Thanksgivings ago. I didn't go to Thanksgiving at my sister's house this year because she made me promise that I wouldn't get into a conversation with her son and ruin Thanksgiving for everybody. I was like, he said he believes in Jesus Christ, and he says he doesn't have to stand up and live the Lord's Prayer without fear and do it with courage and kindness because Jesus already did it for him, so he can go get a job at White Sands where people home invade through economics and manipulate people with economics through pervert rocket scientists. And I told him, man, if you, say you believe in Jesus and you don't want to stand up for the Lord's Prayer, I'll jump inside your butt with both feet and won't come out till you do. And then I did that all during, thing, he got the Bible and quoted it to me. And I said, yeah, if I write down on a piece of paper that I'm gravity, does that make me gravity? You're reading from a book of the people that crucified Jesus Christ to silence him because his truth negated their delusions of human power and authority. A dog could figure it out, right? And then afterwards, he said, I only had this conversation because I love you. And I said, well, then good. So when we're living the kingdom of heaven on earth, if you don't stand up for the Lord's Prayer, you're not going to be able to, everybody's going to know. This is a modern era. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a Patriot Act. Everybody has computing systems, a hard drive that, you can have all the pertinent information and not try to erase it. So we don't end up with Strauss being a German because Hitler likes the Emperor Waltz, right? I said, so when we do that, we'll all live in the kingdom of heaven. And he goes, but you won't be there, Uncle Earl. It's like, you just said you talked to me all this time because I love you. But if I don't accept the bullshit in your head as reality, you're going to kill me and send me to a magic place in your head that does not exist in reality. I didn't say that to him. I just looked at him and said, damn, that's some serious brain damage. That's a serious brain injury. Andrew Huberman, my embellic, what do you suggest that we should do for Elijah Benegas so he doesn't say that kind of horrible thing in front of his cell phone to be put on a quantum computer in front of his uncle, the Messiah? I need your professional help and or opinion. You're experts in the field of brains and brain activity and why the brain is doing, and a full documentary on PBS of who's in control. Who's in control of the brain? Are you in control of your brain? If other people are torturing you with economic conflict and abuse through a virtual presence through technology and it's injuring your brain, are you in control of your brain? Are they in control of theirs? Okay. So why are we even using the word control when there is no aspects of control being applied in physics at all, right? And when someone attempts to take control of his brain and then try to help other people do so, he is abused by those that have no control over their brain, but manipulate everybody physically and psychologically to feel in control, right? Sell me some supplements. Sell me some motherfucking supplements. Okay? David Goggins doesn't understand how his brain works. Okay? His brain injuries. Okay? He can't explain them to you. He just tells you how he survives in hell and how he's an abusive, trained murderer for corporations. And then he feels guilty about it, so he becomes an EMT. I've met lots of guys like that in Cruces here. Yeah. Old Lewis, who worked for Halliburton, said he had a great time. We used to sit there and laugh and joke, watching surveillance video and say Halliburton don't care if a Arab baby dies sucking on a mom's tit. And then he spent, after he got out of the military, he goes to this church, finds a woman, tells me, that my Jesus is crazy and his Jesus is perfect and going to save him. And I need to shut up because I've been an egomaniac because I think I am Jesus. And then he goes down to migrant centers and braids little girls' hairs that look like, and some of them are probably related to the Arab people that they mass murdered in the Middle East because of a thing called migration and the occupation of the Moors in the Iberian Peninsula for 700 years. And then those people coming across the hands across the water, hands across, and performing genocidal operations of certain groups and survival groups and survivalist groups of here through disease and stuff like that. So a lot of these people, they had a better resistance to the disease in the Yucatan Peninsula and all that stuff and everything like that, because there was either places to hide and they had a better environment in which to recover from the diseases brought in by the Iberian Peninsula. Across the plains, no. That disease comes in and here comes winter, and that's why the Seminoles and others, where they live in a tropical community and in Cuba and Puerto Rico, survived better, than the plains people. So when that disease comes down and you have no natural resistance and here comes the winter and you're fucked, right? You're dead as a doornail. You don't have any recovery time. You don't have positive ions, constant and present to clean out the crap. And so you're very fucked if people come along and are violent and disturb the ecosystem and cause disease and wow, mass pandemic, right? And so you sit and you look at things and it's horrible. When you look at history and you look at the patterns of history and you look at what human beings do and what they're capable of and what makes them feel powerful. We studied that in history class when I was in school because when they came and they had diseases, and they'd come and bless your kid and say that they were blessing him eternally so he could live in heaven with Jesus. And they'd come and do a thing over it, and the kids would get the disease from the guy, the typhoid priest, and that was powerful magic. Some were like, oh, well, my son's gone to a better place. He told me when he did this, my son had died as a baby. He doesn't have to go through all this pain and suffering and take his daughter and sacrifice her to the volcano and take her and have sex with her to try to stay alive because the women often die in childbirth. So, oh, yeah, especially when you're living at that high altitude to try to get away from vicious, aggressive, violent neighbors. Oh, how Incan of me. Yeah. It's like chunk. I swear, every time they have this propaganda on here and I connect to it, it's like, oh, it's all the friends of Jennifer Lopez are coming and confessing all their sins to me. It's like, just stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Stop confessing your artistic sins to me and arguing about the one of Obama on the mural thing. Take a picture of it and paint over it. He's an asshole. Doesn't even look like him. The other ones, leave the other ones alone. I like them. On the murals, and they're trying to save all the murals on this building. What if one of the murals has a picture of a person that provoked mass genocide through opioid addiction for corporations? You still want it up there? What if one of them has the picture of Montezuma, who mass murdered all your relatives by the tens of thousands to maintain dominance in sex cult tribal warfare? It's like Mount Rushmore. It's like showing the American flag to my aunt. Well, my aunt, yeah, it was hard on her. But, showing the American flag to Japanese people that lived in Hiroshima, that their relatives were living in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay. Slowly I turned, step by step, right? You go to the Olympics, and people in Japan have to look at that flag of those people that declared war like men and then dropped bombs on women and children to win the war. Well, that's not very sporting. No, just, I'll hit you over the head and sleep well and dream of large women, right? You had Andre the Giant, man, when he drops a bomb, well, you're in trouble, huh, if you're a little old Japanese guy. Well, the Japanese guy can kick Andre the Giant's ass without even breaking a sweat. Like that biker to the rich people in Scottsdale back in the 1980s with the 5'11", 150-pound Mexican, right? I won't take on this kid. I wouldn't want to take him on either. I would not want to take him on either. I would not want to be a murdering asshole, be on TV smiling, killing people for corporations, and have Earl see it, and then talk about it on his YouTube and it go on quantum computing forever until the end of time on planet Earth, and maybe beyond. If it's the transmission can be sent out and then received, because once the transmission goes out and someone else sees it, oh, wow, these people on that planet Earth, boy, maybe we could learn from their mistakes and understand life's eternal and grace is infinite and never walk up and say, accept my philosophy, I'm a brain chemical addicted asshole. No, thank you. You're welcome, right? So, being intelligent isn't a difficult proposition at all. Intelligence is a derivative of love. Okay. What's difficult is living with people that are selfish and cannot love you and will not love you. Okay. When you're intelligent. So it's the people that are not intelligent that it's difficult. Life's difficult. Life's hard. Living life gets so hard to do. Well, yeah, when you're not living the Lord's Prayer, not submitting to the faith of the Psalms and sustaining it with the wisdom of Proverbs, and you're filling stadiums to sing songs, to sell music, to pay extortion to live here, life gets hard to do. And she will be loved once we're living the Lord's Prayer. Right. So, I went and watched that airport analogy thing with Natalie again. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I know she's watching way more Tony Robbins than she is listening to me. Okay. She's tuning me out. Or, yeah. Does it make you sad? Nah, because if she tunes Tony Robbins in, he works out, he has sex with people he wants to have sex with, he has a superficial life, and he feels he's comfortable and successful, and a lot of dumb assholes tell him he's that way. And an intelligent person, they all make him miserable and say, we ran him over in the parking lot of Best Buy because he didn't even exist, right? So if I was Natalie, I'd connect to Tony Robbins rather than me too, just to stay alive, survive, stop, eliminate, abuse, recover. I wouldn't want to connect to me. I'm physically, mentally, and emotionally abused by all of his business partners to the point where most people can't stand it, want to commit suicide or start killing people because of the way they treat the Messiah, right? And I don't want that. So I'll do it all by myself. I will isolate myself. I will not talk to kind people in prayer to let them feel me and feel what I'm going through. And I will tune them out, and I will do everything I can to make sure that they are living in the kingdom of heaven as soon as possible. ASAP Rocky, you know what I'm saying? Hell, fuck yeah. Nah, ASAP Rocky, Mr. Know-It-All. Not that again. I'm going to pull a rabbit out of my hat, right? Oh, no. Okay, so that's a lady who does it. It was a blonde chick that does Rocky's voice. Yes, it's Rocket J Squirrel. Yeah, it's a female who does the voice. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, you could tell, right? So, but, I love you all very much. Just keep working on it. Why are you doing this? Because I'm selfish, and I want my Ray Ray and my Emily and my Cade and my Patrick and my Noah and my Crumb and all the other kids I've known, and if they're still alive and well and doing okay, to live in the kingdom of heaven. So yes, all you trained assassins at Fort Huachuca, if that's the way, you're in control of your brain sees me, then yes, you're right in assessing that I am selfish and wanting people to live the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer so we don't have to tolerate your abuse anymore. Who's in control? I don't know. Ask PBS and their documentaries. Okay. Control. The person that's in control understands life's eternal grace is infinite, and control yourself so we can all live a peaceful life as soon as possible by intelligence, saving us from selfishness, okay? And that's faithful love. Faithful love is intelligence. If you're not a faithful lover, you are not intelligent. You're cunning, you're manipulative, you're insidious, you're vicious, you're selfish, and that's really disgusting because it constantly mass murders people and abuses people and delusions of human power and authority. TikTok found a rock, gonna knock this poser's socks off. Whoa, they're purple. Okay, guys, all you computer nerds out there, all right. Well, put your candidates and your propaganda tool bags out there and bring out your dad, and I'll see if I can bring him back to life. I'm working on it. It's hard. I'm in the bowels of hell, and these people suck. Yeah, they're getting a Christ colonic. Yeah, but it's real hard on the living Christ, I'll tell you. Okay, guys, I love you. All right, peace.